wide. So I request that the leader of opposition agrees again that the Minister for Security, on those names which he has mentioned, returns here next week with a statement. Because it's a matter that affects all of us. We all have relatives and friends who are opposition. You also have relatives and friends who are NRM. So this issue we are discussing does not affect only you as members of opposition. It affects all of us as members of parliament, as leaders, as Ugandans. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to make the supplementary.
Thank you very much. Lope, now you give us your ministers.
Honorable Speaker, allow me to first appreciate the Vice President for her response, which has been properly clothed and easy to understand. Because when you compare it to the Prime Minister was simply mocking this House. Prime Minister, meet more often with the Vice President so that she can coach you on how to respond to some of these issues. Because you see, even when you're being given bitter medicine, somebody can put a coating of some sugar, so it's easy to take the medicine down. That's what the Vice President has said. I may not fully agree with everything she has said, but she has clothed it in a motherly way. And so it becomes easy for me to follow up, now that she has promised. Number one, the question of these intern doctors. You're going to go back and cabinet and review, and you have said nothing is cast in stone. That is what the Vice President has said. It's better than what the Prime Minister said, mocking and saying we increase the numbers and so on. And there is no harm in learning from your senior, the Vice President. Is that a bad thing? You don't want to learn?
Order.
Go for it.
Right Honorable Speaker and members, I want to inform you that I have been here in this House for quite some time, and you know how much respect I give people. My brother was with me, he's my friend, when he was still in NTV. We are very close, by the way. And in my submission, I was very clear. I even told you that I consulted the Vice President. The Vice President is more close to me than you. And so, is he in order to insinuate that I don't consult the Vice President? Is he in order?
Okay, the ruling, the Lope, now you know that the Right Honorable Prime Minister is closer to the Vice President, and she is consulting, she has been consulting. But also you need to know that the two offices are different. You should not expect the Prime Minister to speak like the Vice President.
Most obliged, Right Honorable.
Yes.
I am glad she says she always consults the Vice President. I was only encouraging her to continue to do it a lot more regularly. But you see, government, now that you are reminding us that you did pass that policy to promote sciences, and we were here, and for us who were saying it is a good thing you're paying science teachers better. We said also pay the arts teachers better. But away from that, now that you promote sciences and young people are graduating as interns and so on, medical interns, don't make it ironical by failing to facilitate them and then discouraging the younger ones who will say, maybe it's not attractive to study sciences. So please follow through. And then finally, Right Honorable Speaker,
please.
It's good the Vice President has given us assurance to follow up on these missing persons, including the name that I have mentioned, the most recent one, Christopher Godi, a.k.a. King Zare. Let's follow up, produce these people in court, including John Bosco Chibalama. The Prime Minister is mocking us here to say the Chibalama I meant was a chairperson of her village. Which one? You said Chibalama was arrested, he killed the people. You need to come with a report because it is here that you told us. We were asking you about John Bosco Chibalama, and you told us that very person was arrested over certain offenses. So that's the one we are talking about. Please don't mock this House. We are waiting for the responses. Right Honorable Speaker, Pursuant to Rule 15.2 of our Rules of Procedure, which mandates the leader of the opposition to constitute and designate colleague members of Parliament to the Shadow Cabinet, I have the honor to submit the duly constituted Shadow Cabinet for the 12th Parliament. The Honorable Harriet Nakwede, Kayunga District Woman Representative. She's our Deputy Chief Opposition Whip and Shadow Minister for the Presidency. The Honorable Eugenia Nasolo, Lubaga South Member of Parliament, Shadow Minister for Cooperatives and Microfinance. The Honorable Seungu Gonzaga, Kalungu West MP, Shadow Minister for Defense and Veteran Affairs. The Honorable Sheila Amanio, Mukono District Woman Representative, Shadow Minister for Information and Anti-Corruption. The Honorable Dr. Eunice Apio Otuko, Oyam County North MP, Shadow Minister for Science, Innovation and Technology. The Honorable Kasule Ismail, Hoima West Division MP, Shadow Minister for Trade and Industry. The Honorable Okelo Patrick Onguri, Aswa County Member of Parliament, Shadow Minister for Local Government. The Honorable Sevina Javira Nyendomukungwe, Member of Parliament, Shadow Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development. The Honorable Tebandeke Charles, Bale County MP, Shadow Minister for Animal Industry and Fisheries. The Honorable Alobo Joan Achom, Soroti City Woman MP, Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs. The Honorable Sumaya Nabawanuka, Movende Municipality MP, Shadow Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development. The Honorable Lukanga Moses Musanje, Njeru Municipality MP, Shadow Minister for Energy and Minerals. The Honorable Kaluya Andrew Chiza, Chigulu South MP, Shadow Minister for Education. The Honorable Chiza Hakim, Bukoto South MP, Shadow Minister for East African Community Affairs. The Honorable Jimmy Kanabi, Buikwe South MP, Shadow Minister for Public Service. The Honorable Dr. Timothy Batua Lusala, Jinja South MP, Shadow Minister for Health. The Honorable Sekabira Dennis, Katikamu North MP, Shadow Minister for Internal Affairs. The Honorable Naluima Betty Etho, Wakiso District Woman MP, Shadow Minister for Gender, Labor and Social Development. The Honorable Robert Maseruka, Mukono County South MP, Shadow Minister for Youth and Children Affairs. The Honorable Fred Jalameso, Ajuri County MP, Shadow Minister for Tourism and Wildlife. The Honorable Jamal Mukuve, Bukoli North MP, Shadow Minister for Water and Environment. The Honorable Kutesa Patrick Chimanya Kabonera MP, Shadow Minister for Agriculture. The Honorable Okot Peter, Tochi County MP, Shadow Minister for Special Regions. The Honorable Caps Fungaro, Obongi County MP, Shadow Minister for Human Rights. The Honorable Abdallah Chiwanuka, Mukono County North MP, Shadow Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs. The Honorable Zahara Luirika, Makindye West MP, Kampala Capital City Authority Shadow Minister. The Honorable Asinansi Nyakato, Hoima City Woman MP, Shadow Minister for Works and Transport. The Honorable Zambali Bulasio Mukasa, Nansana Municipality MP, Shadow Minister for Sports. The Honorable Hussein Muyonjo, some of you know him as Swengere, Jinja North Division MP, Shadow Minister for Culture and Performing Arts. And last but certainly not least, the Honorable Luyimba Zinalukola Elias, Kawempe North MP, Shadow Attorney General. Right, Honorable?
Is human rights?
The Honorable Caps Fungaro.
Whom is he shadowing this side?
He is shadowing issues to do with human rights. Honorable Speaker, the provision of the law is for us to have workable dockets that will hold government accountable. And that's why, by the way, we have got 30 shadow ministers. We would have had 82. But we said, no, we are going to shrink all of those into 30 workable documents, and that's allowable within the law, so that we can hold government accountable. We are not going to have 82. We believe 30 ministers are able to run government effectively. So we have shrunk all the 80 plus ministries into 30, and we are going to effectively hold government accountable. My appeal, Right Honorable Speaker, to colleagues on this side as I end.
Lob, I think what is, can we have some order?
Honorable Aliswaka, the Speaker is saying be orderly.
You first resume your seat. We need to get this done well. And if we get it done well from the beginning, we should be... Now, the shadow is really must be a shadow of somebody existing. So, somebody else said that when you said that you only want to reduce it to 30, actually I had one person there saying off record that you actually don't have the number to come to the 81 or so. But, which is...
Right Honorable, that's not true, and you know it because your members on this side are more than 100, as you know, because we are your members too.
The member is now informed that you are doing rationalization. But you should not shadow what is not... Don't split when you can actually merge. But you see, it's you, the appointing authority. Honorable Chris, you wanted to give information to the Speaker and to the House? Yeah. But you can make amendments. Since there are more ministries still available, give Fungaro something, not... yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and the honorable members. I take the opportunity to congratulate you and the members. Now, Rule 15 of our Rules of Procedure speaks to the role and functions of the leader of the opposition. And in Sub-Rule 2, it states, the leader of the opposition shall, in consultation with his or her party leadership, appoint a shadow cabinet from members of the opposition in Parliament who shall have portfolios and functions that correspond to the portfolio.
Wait, are you still paying school fees and not winning? Welcome to Season 5 of our Back to School campaign with up to 120 million Ugandan shillings up for grabs. All you have to do is use the My Airtel app or dial *185 *6# to pay school fees. We are rewarding 100 winners every week with 300,000 Ugandan shillings each. And hey, using the My Airtel app gives you more chances of winning. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Winners will be contacted on 0200 100 100.
Every day we pay, 300K we pay.
Should harmonize so that you respect the rules.
The one handling human rights is Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Yeah, for the government side. Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Baryomusi. Now, on the information you have, would you want to make some amendments?
Right Honorable Speaker, in essence we are putting, because human rights are very critical to us, so we are putting 2 shadow ministers in that docket. That's why we have the one of human rights as well. Because, you see, even according to reports of Uganda Human Rights Commission, the biggest perpetrator of human rights abuses is government and government institutions. I hope you read those reports. So we are saying we want to hold you accountable as government in that regard.
Procedure?
But you came and sat on our side. Why are you putting our side on procedure?
That's why he's raising procedure matter now.
Procedure. I thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I think you already ruled and guided on the matter of having a shadow minister for justice. You properly guided the leader of opposition. So is he procedurally right to continue lamenting and insisting on that position? I thank you.
Lope, you stick to the rules. Can we go to the next item? Now, apparently, when government brings a list for ministers, vice president, but the House debates, this one, they don't need to go to the appointments committee, how lucky they are. They don't need any debate. So the House has taken note, but with the reservation on human rights. Let that one be hanging, and you find that's the guidance I would give.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yeah.
Let's sort it out very easily so that we don't have an unnecessary back and forth. The docket of security is where most of the human rights abuses get to be committed. So the Honorable Caps Fungalo is our Shadow Minister for Security. Thank you.
The House has taken note. Let's go to the next item.
Item number 4.
Oh, let's handle it after this, because we need, there are people with matters of national importance, 2 of them, which we shall consider. But let's do this quickly, and we come back to Honorable Dr. Patrick Wakida and Honorable Julius Naki Muntu. Yes, we have taken note. Yes. Please, next item.
Item number 4 on the order paper. Motion for a resolution of Parliament to authorize government to borrow up to €168,976,354 from the UK Export Finance and Bank and Citibank for the development of solar-powered irrigation system project phase 2.
Honorable members, Article 159(2) of the 1995 Constitution requires parliamentary approval for government borrowing. Aware that we are yet to constitute the Standing Committee on National Economy, and yet we are faced with the urgency of this particular loan request, I will invoke Rule 8.1 of the Rules of Procedure of this House and have this particular request directly considered by the House. Ordinarily, we are supposed to have treated any such request to Rule 162 of the Rules of Procedure. However, we are faced with the reality that that was not envisaged by the framers of these rules, hence recourse to Rule 8.1 of the Rules of Procedure. Therefore, pursuant to Section 34(1) of the Public Finance Management Act 2025 and Rule 58 of the Rules of Procedure, I will now invite the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to move the motion seeking the approval of the House. But before he comes, the situation that we are faced with, we don't have the committees. That is a reality of fact. And this loan is as important as water itself. Minister of Finance, move the motion. Before the motion?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
But, Honorable Bandek, you don't access the microphone before you are given. No. Please, let's respect each other.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to appreciate you that you have quoted the rules and you have highlighted that probably this loan is very urgent. The Right Honorable Speaker, while in Kololo, you promised that this House
is going to go back to the foundations. And among the foundations we've been looking forward to is for this House to follow its own rules to begin with. Right Honorable Speaker, we are in the formation stages of this House. We do not have the committees of Parliament, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, what do we lose? And we want the Minister, probably the Minister may begin from there, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable, what is the procedural issue you are raising? Because if you are referring to the rules, I have not cited the rules of Kenyan Parliament. I have cited the rules of procedure of Ugandan Parliament. I would be glad if you can come and say, Speaker, what you've cited is not the position. I would benefit from that.
Thank you very much,
I said Rule 8.1, and is it not applicable?
No, Right Honorable Speaker, Rule 162 requires us to take much of these matters to the committee that is not available. Right Honorable Speaker, it's not sufficient to just tell us that we don't have committees, yet the people who are supposed to formulate the committees are available. Can't we begin by formulating the committees? The other side is fully constituted, this side is fully constituted. Okay. Right Honorable Speaker, we formulate the committees and you know which committee is going to deal with this particular loan. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to say, this particular loan, I was here in the previous Parliament, Right Honorable Speaker. When we acquired,
which loan now? We are just going to move.
When we acquired,
why don't you wait and that would form part of your debate on the loan, for or against? Let's first, the procedural issues that, please.
Procedure issue, why don't we formulate?
The question you put is that the committee is not here. That's a question of fact. This is purely one of the first sittings we are having, and if you can listen to the motion and the justification, this House will be at liberty to make a decision whether this loan satisfies the urgency or not. So these procedural issues you are raising now are very premature. The Minister of Finance, the Minister is well guided. I have just guided Honorable Paul Muir. Let the Minister present the motion. You will have good opportunity to debate this motion, for or against.
Right Honorable Speaker.
The Minister has to move the motion to provide us a platform where you will say everything. Honorable Paul Muiro, Saba Christo.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Just hold on a bit, yeah. Allow the motion. Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, whereas Article 159 of the Constitution empowers government to borrow from any source as authorized by or under Act of Parliament, and whereas Section 34 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 171, vests the authority to raise money by loan for and on behalf of government, solely in the Minister responsible for finance, with the approval of Parliament by resolution, aware that the government's request to borrow up to euros 168,976,354 from the UK Export Finance and the Citibank for the development of solar power irrigation systems project phase 2 has been laid before this Parliament. Now therefore be it resolved that Parliament authorizes government to borrow up to euros 168,776,354 from the UK Export Finance and Citibank for the development of solar-powered irrigation system, project phase 2. I beg to move, Right Honorable Speaker.
Is the motion seconded? Seconded by the Vice President, Prime Minister, Government Chief Whip, Minister of Agriculture who knows the value of water to the crops. Leader of opposition is Honorable Kefa, Honorable Alenyo, Honorable Wakida, everyone, Honorable the whole House. Okay, for the record, by the majority of the members of the House. Can you justify your motion? Please, procedure does not come before justification. It can come any time when you, I know this thing very well. Justify.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the proposed project will develop 427 irrigation systems across the country aimed at enhancing rural incomes through increased production and productivity arising from irrigated agriculture for coffee growing. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda cleared this project for implementation in his letter dated 15th December 2021 under reference number PO/10 addressed to the Honorable Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development and Minister of Water and Environment, and a copy I have attached as annex. Mr. Speaker, to date, Phase 1 of the project has achieved over 99% physical completion, with 434 systems developed across the country delivering verifiable economic benefits countrywide, including the following: 148 rural water supply systems benefiting 98,521 households and 433,992 individuals. 83 urban water supply systems serving 107,390 households and 472,519 people. And 203 irrigation systems irrigating 2,000 acres while supporting 554 households and 2,436 residents. Collectively, these initiatives have enhanced water security and productivity for 206,465 households and a total population of 908,447 across the country. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, it is important to note that Phase 2 of the project had been envisaged to cover additional 700 sites. However, to preserve the vital fiscal space for other key projects that the government is implementing, the project was rescoped to fit within these fiscal parameters, optimizing 427 systems. Mr. Speaker, the objectives of my coming here of the motion is to brief Parliament on the following. 1, to note the required financing of up to euros 168 976,354 shillings, 354 euros from UKF and Citibank for the implementation of the development of solar-powered irrigation system project phase 2. And to seek your authority, Right Honorable Speaker and the House, to proceed to borrow up to euros 168,976,354 euros from UKF and Citibank for implementation of the development of the solar-powered irrigation system project phase 2. Mr. Speaker, I now come to the justification, strategic alignment, and the financing terms. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, as the effects of climate change continue to escalate, the available water resources for agricultural production are constantly decreasing. Currently, farmers are losing a lot of crops due to prolonged dry seasons, and this in turn affects their livelihoods. The National State of Environment Report, NEMA 2024, indicated that, on average, 800,000 hectares of crops per year are destroyed by climate. While between 2010 and 2013, damages and losses in agriculture sector caused by the 2010-11 rainfall deficit were estimated to US $907 million and included crop production losses, animal death, livestock production losses, and higher production costs. Irrigation is therefore one of the responses to the adverse effects of climate change in the agricultural sector, and if no action is taken, the cost implications will remain high. For example, between 2010 and 2050, damages are projected at US $140 to 260 billion, arising from failure to apply irrigation. The need for irrigation across the country is therefore very crucial. Securing availability of water for agriculture will guarantee food security and the livelihood of the farmers, including the most vulnerable groups, and addresses the need of the very poor in society. Well-developed irrigation infrastructure and good water management can increase yields by 2 to 5 times for most crops. Mr. Speaker, the project's justification. Uganda's agricultural performance has been constrained by frequent occurrences of severe drought and flooding, particularly over the last 20 years. In 2010, drought accounted for 38% loss in beans harvest and 36% loss in maize harvests, thereby contributing to food insecurity and poverty. I wish to inform honorable colleagues that a study by the Office of the Prime Minister estimated the loss and damage of Uganda shillings 2.8 trillion, equivalent of US $1.2 billion, to the Ugandan economy, equivalent to 7.5% of the country's GDP in 2010 due to erratic rains. According to the Status of Environment Report 2014, on average, 800,000 hectares of crop are destroyed every year by climate-related events. Coffee has been identified as a priority commodity due to its strategic importance to Uganda's economy and livelihoods. Uganda is currently the second largest coffee producer in Africa after Ethiopia and the leading coffee exporter on the continent. Coffee remains the country's leading source of foreign exchange earnings, generating approximately US dollars 999.8 million from the export of 6.06 million 60 kilogram bags between March 2023 and February 2024. In addition, approximately 1.8 million Ugandans directly depend on coffee as their primary source of livelihood, with the sector dominated by smallholder farmers operating on less than 1 hectare of land. However, coffee productivity remains highly vulnerable to rainfall variability, prolonged drought spells, and increasing climate change impacts, particularly during critical crop growth stages such as flowering and cherry development. Honorable members, despite Uganda's substantial agricultural and water resource potential, irrigation development in the country remains very relative to the estimated national potential. Uganda's irrigation potential is estimated at approximately 3.03 million hectares. However, only about 23,595 hectares, which is 0.78%, representing less than 1% of the total potential, are currently under irrigation. Consequently, agricultural production remains predominantly dependent on rainfall, exposing farmers seasonal rainfall variability and climate-related production risks. Limited access to irrigation infrastructure has therefore continued to constrain agricultural productivity. Agricultural productivity, commercialization, and the ability of farmers to undertake year-round production. Solar-powered pumping has demonstrated up to 70% saving in energy costs when compared to previously diesel-powered pumping systems, and therefore has been prioritized for this project. Records from towns implemented under the Energy for Rural Transformation with funding from the World Bank as well as the Water Supply and Sanitation Program with funding from the African Development Fund, currently utilizing solar water pumping, indicates that the systems are providing safe water at very low tariffs of 1 to 1.5 Uganda shillings per liter. This is because of very low operation and maintenance cost requirements. In addition, the adoption of solar-powered pumping systems contributes to the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and supports national and global efforts towards climate change mitigation through the transition to cleaner and renewable energy technologies. I now come to the project objectives. Goal is to contribute to increased yields of coffee production through provision of water for irrigation. Objective is to establish solar-powered irrigation systems across the country in support of coffee farmers. The project's outcome is increased access to water for irrigation as well as improved coffee production and productivity. The project description, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the project shall target the development of 427 irrigation systems to enhance coffee production in the project areas across the country. The total potential irrigable area is to be developed in about 4,768 acres. Each system has an average of 11 acres with the potential to be expanded to 20 acres and consists of a water abstraction system, transmission mains, solar pumping system, storage tank, and on-farm irrigation infrastructure. Each system shall serve progressive farmers, organized farmer groups, benefiting an average of households. An average of 6 households, that is 27 people. Annex 2, Mr. Speaker, indicates the list of proposed sites per district across the country. Additionally, each system will ensure capacity building of beneficiary communities for operation and maintenance of the installed facilities. The project will leverage and strengthen existing extension service infrastructure at sub-county, parish, and district levels in Uganda, working through the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Extension Programs, and the Coffee Department. District and sub-county agriculture officers will participate in farmer identification, mobilization, and ongoing agronomic support, ensuring that technical guidance on irrigation and coffee production is contextually relevant and delivered by trusted local actors who possesses deep knowledge of smallholder realities. By formally integrating government extension personnel into the project infrastructure, rather than relying on parallel or temporary systems, the intervention builds institutional ownership, creates an accountable pathway for knowledge transfer, and addresses phase 1 lessons. The project benefits. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, the project is expected to directly benefit about 2,562 households, translating to approximately 11,785 direct beneficiaries. A key focus of the intervention is improvement of coffee production, where yields per tree are projected to increase from the current average of 1.3 kilograms of chiboko to approximately 6.5 kilograms under irrigation. This improvement is anticipated to result in an annual coffee yield of about 8,893 tons, thereby contributing significantly to increased agricultural output, rural livelihoods, and economic growth. At the project level, the intervention is projected to generate approximately Uganda shilling 66.7 billion in average annual revenue to the beneficiaries. The project is also expected to produce approximately 5,336 tons of fair average quality coffee, equivalent to about 88,939 bags of 60 kgs annually. At the household level, the intervention is expected to significantly improve incomes and households, with the average one expected to realize at an annual revenue of about Uganda shillings 26 million. In terms of productivity, the average household is expected to produce approximately 2.1 tons of fair average quality coffee annually, and equivalent to about 35 bags of fair average quality coffee per year. Site readiness and rigorous selection are fundamental for phase 2, drawing on practical lessons from phase 1. Prior to any works, beneficiaries are required to sign formal land consent agreements following extensive stakeholder engagement with communities, local government authorities, and leadership structures, secure social license, prevent future disputes, and foster long-term ownership. Water for production. Regional teams conduct thorough field verification of all proposed sites to confirm they fully satisfy the project's established site selection criteria before inclusion in the project scope. Over 627 potential beneficiaries have already been profiled based on rigorous criteria in partnership with the Department of Coffee, formerly UCDA, district local governments, operation wealth creation, and individual applications, and continuous assessment are ongoing. Selection of sites for irrigation. The selection criteria considerations include: number one, there should be access to a potential source of water within 500 meters of the beneficiary. Number two, the irrigable land area to be served will range from 10 to 20 acres. Number three, the farmer should have a coffee plantation that is at least 1 year old. Number four, the site can be individual or communal, with consideration for commercial coffee villages for big systems. Number five, the farmer should possess proof of land ownership or land user rights. Number six, there should be no encumbrances along the outline of the proposed scheme infrastructure, i.e. within the distance from the water source to the command area. Number seven, the land management of the field should be adequate, showing evidence of good agronomic practices and sanitation. Number eight, the farmer should not have benefited from the project's phase one interventions and should not be under the planned development of the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa project, UGIFT, and Uganda Climate Smart Agricultural Transformation Project. Number nine, the route to the farm should be accessible to facilitate construction activities. Number 10, equity considerations in line with the ministry's policy of some for all and not all for some. Number 11, the youth, women, and organized coffee farmers groups will be given special attention. The project, Mr. Speaker, has the following components. Component 1, consultancy services for design review, construction supervision, and complementary support service provisions for solar-powered irrigation systems. And the unit cost here is 13,678.81 euros. 13,678.81. Component 2 is design, supply, and installation of solar powered irrigation systems across the country, phase 2, and the unit cost is 337,229.16 euros. What are the loan terms and conditions? Mr. Speaker, the financing for the development of solar-powered irrigation systems, project phase 2, will be primarily through a loan covered by the United Kingdom Export Finance, UKF, worth euros 148,509,420. And this is inclusive of the insurance premium of euros 18,979,504, equivalent to 12.78% of the loan, and a commercial facility of euros 20,466,934 from Citibank. It is important to note, Mr. Speaker, that the export credit agencies, e.g. UKF, do not directly lend to sovereign countries like Uganda. They provide the export cover required and
The Voto free tethered shooting tools, anytime, anywhere. Effortlessly connect your iPad wirelessly. Seamless tethering. Instant retouching. Boost your business with same-day edits.
I now detail the particulars of the export credit agency facility. which is 90% UKF cover. The loan facility, as I had mentioned earlier, euros 148,509,420. This includes the insurance premium of 12% or 18,979,504. The tenure is 13 years, up 13 years with a grace period of 3 years, and the interest rate is 3.65% per annum, and this is fixed, and the commitment fees is 0.2% per annum on drawn loan amount, and the facility agency fee is euros 20,000 per annum, and upfront fees is 1.15% flat on the facility amount, and this comes to euros 1,707,858.33. Now, the commercial facility from Citibank, the loan amount is euros 20,466,934. This is 10% of the commercial contract amount and the owner's engineer. The tenure here is up to 7 years. The grace period is 2 years. The margin is 4.95% per annum. The interest rate is 6 months Euribor of 2.55% plus margin of 4.95%, which gives 7.5%. The commitment fees is 1.25% per annum on committed but undrawn amount. Mr. Speaker, I wish to note that the Euribor is a variable rate that keeps changing. As at 31st May 2026, a 6 months Euribor was 2.55%. Mr. Speaker, now I come to the project readiness. The feasibility studies for the project have been undertaken. The project is a design and build, which implies that the contractor, who is Nexus Green Limited, will do the final studies, designs, and construction. The comprehensive economic analysis update in April 2026 confirmed the project's feasibility yielding an economic internal rate of return of 14.02% and economic net present value of euros 29.83 million. To ensure adherence to the PIMS policy, the Ministry of Water and Environment has secured an owner's engineer, SGAPI Consulting Engineers Limited, to exercise strict technical oversight over the contractor during the design and construction. The loan and the current debt situation of the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, as at the end of 2025, Uganda's total debt stock amounted to US dollars 34.86, which is an equivalent of 52.7% of GDP. The table is there. I invite honorable colleagues to look at the breakdown of our debt, and the source is from the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. Mr. Speaker, in line with the Debt Sustainability Analysis Report of December 2025, which reports debt statistics on the financial year basis, Uganda's debt remains within sustainable limits, with the total debt stock at 32.24 billion, approximately 116 trillion for financial year 2024-2025. This comprises of US dollars 15.46 billion, an equivalent of 55.6 trillion in external debt, and US dollars 16.79 billion, an equivalent of 60.35 trillion in domestic debt. Public debt as a share of GDP is estimated at 50.86, aligning with the targets in the Charter of Fiscal Responsibility. This project is already included in our debt sustainability analysis and in the fiscal framework for the budget for financial year 2026-2027 and the medium-term fiscal framework. Consequently, this borrowing will not breach Uganda's long-term debt sustainability threshold. Mr. Speaker, I wish now to present to the House the measures we have to manage debt. Mr. Speaker, to manage and reduce our debt levels, the government has adopted fiscal consolidation measures that include increased revenue mobilization, particularly through the implementation of the domestic revenue mobilization strategy, as well as controlling and reducing government borrowing, expenditure, and prioritizing interventions in the growth-driving sectors. In addition, the government is implementing the Public Investment Management System policy and strategy, which aims to streamlining the preparation, appraisal, approval, management of all government projects, and ensuring that these projects are ready before being presented to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I now come to other conditions attached to the loan.
The other conditions, I think you can refer
The other,
members.
they can,
This is about documentation.
yes.
Can you go to your conclusion? The rest can be, members, you can look at them.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, with your guidance, I now come to the conclusion, and I wish to conclude as follows. In light of the above, I request Parliament to, 1, note the need to borrow up to euros 168,976,354 from the UKF and Citibank for the development of solar powered irrigation systems project phase 2. 2, note the financing terms for the loan facilities of up to euro 168,976,354 from the UKF and Citibank for the development of solar powered irrigation systems project phase 2. And 3, authorize the minister responsible for finance to borrow up to euros 168,976,354 from UKF and Citibank for the development of solar powered irrigation systems phase 2 project. Mr. Speaker, before I yield the floor, I wish to lay the accompanying documents as per the rules. Mr. Speaker, this request is accompanied by the agreement between Government of the Republic of Uganda, represented by Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and the lenders, who are Citibank and UKF. I beg to lay, Right Honorable Speaker.
Let the record capture that.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the report on public debt, grants, guarantees, and other financial liabilities as at the end of December 2025. I beg to lay. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay on the table the performance of projects under the Ministry of Water and Environment from 2016 to 30th April 2025. I beg to lay.
Let the record capture.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay on table the clearance by Cabinet, clearance by His Excellency the President on behalf of Cabinet, clearing the loan to proceed and clearing that Parliament goes ahead and considers the loan. And this letter is dated June 8th, 2026. I beg to lay.
Let the record capture that.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay on the table the feasibility report which was done for this project by Ministry of Water and Environment. I beg to lay. I also beg to lay on table the sector performance report of all projects being implemented in the sector, through externally financed resources, including grants, as at March 2026. I beg to lay. Mr. Speaker, I have also submitted in soft copy the following documents. Commercial contract, which is the project appraisal document, the environmental report, the procurement plan, the resettlement action plan, the project implementation plan, and the development committee approval for evidence of consistency with the National Development Plan. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I beg to submit.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, are now open the debate on the motion, and the debate will be limited to 30 minutes.
Clarification.
We are going to debate.
Clarification.
Raise your procedural matters in your submission when you are debating.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
And I'm beginning with this side. This side, you don't rise up. I don't want to. I'm beginning with this side, and not necessarily that opposition. I will pick any members here. And Honorable Nambodze.
Yes, sir.
You, my MP, please begin the debate.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
And in your debate, you should be clear whether you are for or against, for the record of Parliament.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, it was your ruling that I will raise this procedural matter after the justification has been done. And allow me, Right Honorable Speaker, to inform you that I've read Rule 81, upon which you based to allow the presentation of this motion. And Right Honorable Speaker,
it talks about issues that are in doubt, that whenever there is a matter and the Parliament finds itself in doubt and that matter is not provided for by the rules, that Mr. Speaker, you become the rule and you guide the House. But I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that our rules of procedure.
Restate your statement.
Rule. I was summarizing the provisions of Rule 8.1.
Everybody here has a rule, your side, and we have the patience to read it together with you.
Don't
summarize.
Rule 8.1 provides that in case of any doubt and for any question of procedure not provided in these rules, the Speaker shall decide, having regard to the practices of the House, the constitutional provisions, and the practices of other commonwealth parliaments, insofar as the practice may be applicable to the Parliament of Uganda. But I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that this particular matter is provided for under our Rule 159. So, Mr. Speaker, with your guidance, is it proper for a matter that is provided for in our rules of procedure to be handled under Rule 8.1? More so, Right Honorable Speaker, when the matter we are handling...
Did you say Rule 159?
162, Right Honorable Speaker. If you allow me to read also. Rule 162.
Actually, if you read 162, you would not raise the procedure matter. But you go ahead and read, please.
I'm reading it.
Yes, yeah.
Rule 162, Right Honorable Speaker. Rule 160, I beg to. It talks about it is 162. The Speaker shall commit the proposal to loans or guarantee request to the Committee of National Economy and to the relevant sectoral committee under which the subject matter of the request follows. That is.
Are you looking for a dream house? Or do you want to buy, sell, or rent property? Well, we can help. We can help you save money and time. All you have to do is visit www.20fast.re.